this part of our lesson is still using SOHCAHTOA, so keep your sine, cosine, tangent formula triangles available to you. But in this question, it says solve the triangle. And when it says to solve the triangle, that means you need to find everything not given to you. So find all of the missing pieces of information. So in this triangle, you guys can see, I know angle C is a 90-degree angle. I know I have from C to B is 8, and I know from A to B is 12. So I don't know two angles. I don't know angle A and angle B, and I don't know the length of side AC. So I have 3 things given and 3 things missing, and I have to find everything that's missing. Before we do that though, oh, Bella's joining us, awesome. Okay, before we do that, before we start jumping right into solve the triangle, I need to show you or remind you how to label the sides of a triangle. So when you're working with a triangle, angles are always capital letters. Just gonna type this here. Angles are capital letters. So angle ABC in this triangle, okay? Sides are always lowercase letters. And this is where there's a rule we have to know. And the side and the opposite angle share the same letter. The side and the opposite angle share the same letter. So angles are capital letters, sides are lowercase letters, but the side and the opposite angle will be the same letter. So what I mean by that is if this is side A here on the top right, where is angle, sorry, if this is angle A, top right, where's side A? What side is across? Yeah, awesome. This is going to be side A. So all the way across is going to be side A. So in this triangle, which one is side B?
The hypotenuse? No, just kidding. The opposite one? The top one?
Yeah, the top one. And what letter am I putting on the hypotenuse based on this triangle?
C.
C. Okay, so angles and the opposite side share the same letter. There's a reason why we do this. It's because if you have a big angle, so let me just pause the recording here a second. So again, when you're checking, just make sure big angles have big sides across from them, small angles have small sides across from them. Part of the challenge with solving a triangle is knowing where to start, because it doesn't say find side B first or find angle B first. I don't want you guys to spend a whole bunch of time trying to figure out where do I start. I want you guys just to pick a starting point and then move on from there. So you could start with any 3 missing piece of information, doesn't matter which one you choose, just look at what's missing and pick a starting point. So before we get started here, I'm just going to write down what we have and what's missing. So angles and sides. Okay, so what do I know? Do I know angle ABC, side ABC? What do I know? What's given to me?
Side A and C, and that angle C is 90 degrees.
Wonderful. Okay. As you can see, I don't know angle A, I don't know angle B, and I don't know side B. Where do we want to start? Just pick what feels good. Where are we going to start?
Angle B.
Angle B. Okay, Lauren spoke first, so we're going to go with angle B. It actually doesn't matter. You guys could pick any of them. So I'm going to focus on angle B here. Okay, I don't know side B. And in order to figure out angle B, I need to use the 2 sides that I know the lengths of them. So I know 8 and I know 12. So let's identify these two sides given to me. Is 8 opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse?
Adjacent.
Perfect. And 12, opposite or hypotenuse?
Hypotenuse.
Okay. Which triangle formula am I going to use? Sine, cosine, or tangent?
Cosine.
Yep, ca or cosine, because I have the adjacent and the hypotenuse. So I'm going to use the pink one there. And I'm looking for my angle measurement. So I'm going to do cosine of my angle equals A over H. Cosine of my angle equals A over H. Cosine angle A over H. All right, we don't know our angle, so I'm going to put in B there just so we remember what we're solving for in this question. So cosine B, oh goodness. Cosine B, if I can write it. Sorry guys, I'm going to end up writing when I can write it. Cosine B equals 8 over 12. Cosine B equals 8 over 12. How do I solve for angle B? How do I isolate for B?
Move the cosine over and
Awesome.
do negative, like cosine minus 1. So that's like 48.
Okay, cosine minus 1, thank you, Lauren. So we move the cosine over, we get it off of the variable of B. And on your calculator, you're going to do cosine negative 1 of 8 over 12. Cosine negative 1 of 8 over 12. Lauren said she has it there. Let's round to whole numbers. Lauren, tell me one more time, what did you get?
48.
48. Very good. B is 48. Questions on how we found angle B? Okay. Now I'm missing angle A and I'm missing side B. Does anybody have a suggestion on the fastest way to find angle A?
Because we know what was I gonna say? Because we know angle B and C, and we know that the triangle has to add up to 180, then you just add them together and see how much you're missing.
Perfect. So Brianna's remembering that you guys know the angles inside of a triangle equal 180. So either add the 90 and the 48 and take that away from 80, or if you guys just want to do 180, take away 48, take away 90, we immediately get angle A. So what's angle A?
42.
Perfect, 42. When you guys are solving the triangles, you will always be able just to subtract for your missing third angle. So please use the most efficient way to do that. You could use SOHCAHTOA, but that is definitely the fastest way, is just subtract 180, take away the other two, and find your missing third angle. So now all we're missing is side B. A couple of ways we could do this. One is we could use SOHCAHTOA, and we could try to find the missing side there. Or who remembers Pythagorean theorem? No one remembers Pythagorean theorem?
I remember it. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure.
Brianna, what does
Yeah, me
Pythagorean?
too.
Oh, good. What's Pythagorean theorem say? Or what's the formula?
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Perfect. And what does C in this formula represent?
$12.
Oh, sorry. In general, so Lauren, let's not look at the triangle yet. In general, what does C of Pythagorean theorem represent?
The answer? I don't know.
C is the hypotenuse. So this can be a little tricky because you may not have an ABC triangle. You might have an XYZ or a QRS triangle. They can sometimes use random letters. You need to know, if you use Pythagorean theorem, C is the hypotenuse. A and B are the two short sides or the two smaller sides. Okay, so basically this formula is telling you that if you take the two small sides and add them together, square them, add them together, they equal the third side, the hypotenuse side. So, you're welcome. Okay, so let's plug in the two short sides. Let's ignore the fact that they're called A and B because I gave you an ABC triangle. Let's ignore the fact that this is an ABC triangle. What are the lengths of my two short sides of this triangle?
Twelve and 8.
Oh, but look at this one, Lauren. What's this one here?
Oh,
That's
just
my
kidding.
long side, right?
8 and something.
Yeah, 8 and something, which,
Oh, don't you write 8 squared plus b squared equals 12 squared and then figure it out?
perfect. Yes, so I'm going to write 8 squared plus, in this case, my other short side is b, so that works out perfectly, equals c squared. The two short sides have to add to the long side. Well, b squared is here. How do I get rid of this 8 squared that's attached by addition to b squared? How do I move this? C is 12. I should write that in there. I'm trying to solve for b. How do I get...
Like divide or something?
Well, how is it attached
Just
together?
Addition,
So what's the opposite of addition?
subtraction.
Perfect. So I'm going to subtract that over here. And on your calculators, I want you guys to do 12 squared, take away 8 squared.
80.
80, perfect. It is not 4, so please be very careful with your calculations here. Now that equals b squared. How do I get just b?
You square root it.
Perfect, square root it. So on your calculator, square root b, and let's maybe do 1 decimal place. Hit the S to D button to turn it to a decimal.
9.
Good. I'm going to leave it 8.9 for now, Lauren. But yeah, if we round it to a whole number, that'd be fine. 8.9. Okay, so I'm going to plug that in here. And how do we know if this seems to make sense?
I don't know if this is like the most efficient way, but how I was always taught is that you know that the C or this, yeah, the hypotenuse is always going to be the biggest side, so the other two have to be smaller than the hypotenuse.
That is definitely a good start, Brianna. So 12 is the longest side and it's across from the biggest angle of 90, so that's great. Is my smallest side across from my smallest angle?
Yes.
Yes. So you've got a couple of layers of checking here. You know 90 is the biggest. Your hypotenuse has to also be the biggest in a right triangle. So 90 and 12 are the biggest, but then also check your smallest. Is my smallest across from my smallest side? Yep, 42 is my smallest angle, 8 is my smallest side, check. And then obviously middle and middle are also true. So just quickly take a look there and make sure big angles across from big sides, small angles across from small sides. Questions? Okay, let's try this one. Oh, well, let's try this one. This is a DEF triangle. So that's perfect. That has different letters. So we'll try out some different letters in our different triangles here. So angles D, E, F, and sides D, E, F. What do I know? Oh, F is my 90. That should always be given to you. Sorry, we should never assume a 90. That is my 90.
E is 48, and then one of them is 15. I just don't know which one.
Which side is 15?
Oh, it's opposite.
Yeah.
But how do you know which letter it is?
So check the angle across from it, Lauren.
E.
Perfect. And I know one more thing. What else can I fill in my chart?
The 90.
Perfect. Okay, so if I just wanted to put labels on this, what am I labeling my hypotenuse? What letter is my hypotenuse?
H.
Oh, sorry, using the letters of the triangle, Lauren.
Oh, F.
Perfect. And what letter am I putting over here?
E. Just kidding. D.
Perfect. D. Okay, so we are missing angle D, we are missing side D, and we are missing side F. Where do you want to start?
With the angle.
Okay, Brianna, how are we going to find angle D?
Well, we already have 2 of the other angles, so you could just add them together and then subtract them from 180, which will give you
Perfect.
42.
Yep, awesome. Okay, that was nice and easy there. Now I'm going to make a suggestion for us. If you don't know 2 sides and one of them is the hypotenuse, leave that till the end, because then you don't have to rearrange Pythagorean theorem. You will have the 2 short sides adding to the long side. So I would suggest in this case, we leave F to the end. We could solve for F, but let's leave it to the end. It'll be a little bit quicker. Okay. So if there's no one that wants to say, absolutely, Mrs. Reed, I wanted to solve for that next. Okay, we're going to solve for D then. Let's use this 48-degree angle. I would like to solve for side D. Looking at the 48-degree angle, is it my opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? Looking at this angle.
Adjacent.
Okay. And I don't know my hypotenuse, so I'm going to ignore that one for now. So I'm going to use this 15. Is this my opposite? Oh, it's got to be. I just told you we're not using the hypotenuse. This is my opposite from the 48. Which trig triangle is O and A?
TOA.
Perfect. And I'm solving for A, my adjacent. What am I doing with the O and the tan?
Division.
Division. O, so A equals O divided by tan. All right, so we had A equals, it's just my general formula. I'm going to put variables in here in a second. O divided by tan. A is D. My variable is D in this triangle. My opposite is 15. And I'm working with that 48-degree angle. So I want you guys to do 15 divided by tan of 48. 15 divided by tan of 48. Nice, Lauren. Actually, I'd love for you guys to throw in the chat so I can see that we're really proficient with the formulas and our calculators. Nice, Brianna. Awesome, Amy. Good. Yep, good, Isaac. Good, Nicole. Okay, nice job, guys. So I left it at 13.5. Some of you in the chat rounded that to 14, but let's just, for side lengths, leave one decimal place. So 13.5. I'm going to fill that in up here. And I would suggest for F, let's just do Pythagorean theorem. The two short sides squared add to the long side. So D and E are my two short sides. F is my long side. So 13.5 plus 13.5 squared plus 15 squared will equal F squared. I'll just write my formulas here using E and F. Oh my goodness, D, E, and F. Two short sides squared equal the long side. 13.5 squared plus 15 squared equals F squared. What's 13.5 squared plus 15 squared?
407.25.
Good. Now that's not obviously the length of side F. So what do I have to do to get F?
Square root it.
Square root it. Very good. Nice job. Some of you guys are putting that in the chat to me. That's awesome. All right. Nice work, guys. Okay, so I got 20.2. Some of you guys just rounded to 20, which is okay. But you get 20.18. So I'm going to say 20.2 is F. 20.2. Okay, so I'm filling out my chart 20.2. And I want you guys to look over what you have there and tell me, does the work that we've done, do the numbers seem to make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. So big angle, 90, biggest angle is 90, biggest side 20.2, check. Smallest angle is 42, smallest side is 13.5, check. Any questions on this triangle? All right, I want you guys to try this one on your own. Let's just fill out our chart here. So we have X, Y, Z, or Z, X, Y, and Z. Z is the 90. What is 5 and what is 3? Where am I filling in the 5 and the 3 in my chart? Three is side Y because it's across from angle Y, and 5 is X. So perfect, we don't have the hypotenuse. That is going to be easily, you can use Pythagorean theorem for Z. And then find angle X and angle Y. I want you guys to try that one. So solving for angle T here, or sorry, T, X using tangent, tan of my angle is O over A. X being the variable of my angle. My opposite side length is 5 and my adjacent side length is 3. So tan of X tan X equals 5 over 3. Okay, how do I get the tan off of my X? How do I find angle X? How do I get rid of this tan?
you bring it over the equal sign
Thank you,
and
Brianna.
then it becomes negative.
Perfect. So on my calculator, you're going to do tan -1 of 5 divided by 3. That will immediately give you angle X. Tan -1, 5 over 3. So that gives me tan -1 of 5 divided by 3 is a 59-degree angle. 59 degrees. All right, so 59. The fastest way to find y is just subtract. So 180 minus 90 minus 59. And I get 31 degrees. Then the fastest way I would say to find your hypotenuse when you have the two short sides is just use Pythagorean theorem. Do your 2 short sides squared equals the long side squared. So 5 squared plus 3 squared equals z squared. 5 squared plus 3 squared equals z squared. So 5 squared plus 3 squared, you get 25 plus 9, so 34. And then take the square root of it. And you get 5.8. So fill 5.8 up here. And then check to see, does this seem to make sense? Anyone want to confirm if that makes sense?
Yeah, it does because the biggest angles match up with the biggest sides.
And the smallest angle across from the small side. So by default, the middle angles across from the middle side. So that's perfect. So just check the end there to make sure that it makes sense.